Welcome to Mastering Life's Adventures, an educational podcast about tapping into your true self, the soul, the substance of your life, to discover what life's ups and downs are really about, and how to have a greater sense of purpose, peace, joy, and fulfillment. I am Dr. Judith Holder, your host, coach, psychologist, fellow seeker who enjoys diving into the connections between spirituality, psychology, wellness, and your everyday life's adventures. All preparing and polishing you like the facets of a magnificent diamond to be your best self. If you're craving more from your life, you are in the right place. Come, let's journey together and transforming what you know into who you really are. Mastering Life's Adventures begins now. Hi, I'm back to talk about something that I really want you to go back and listen to part one, when Olivier and I was talking about Eat to Thrive, unlocking youthfulness and vitality. And this is part two of this conversation. Part one was a great understanding about his life and what he has gone through to move towards that point of youthfulness and vitality in his life, and want you to do the same. So, Olivier, why don't you introduce yourself?
Yeah, so my name is Olivier Mankondo. I'm a speaker, author, weight loss, and wellness coach. I've been able to change my life in 2016. I adopted a plant-based nutrition, which had a profound transformation in my life. And that's why I decided to share that knowledge with my brothers and sisters so that they can live a disease-free life. So in a nutshell, that's what I do.
And I know we've been talking about how we regularly eat and sometimes how results and sometimes of the levels of dis-ease in our body. And you experienced some of that. So why don't you share more of that?
Yeah, first of all, because of my way of eating, I was eating a lot of animal product, dairy product, processed food and all that. And like I said previously, my weight went to 220 pounds, and I'm starting to suffer from high blood pressure. High blood pressure is a very dangerous disease. I would have massive headaches every day or every other day. I had to have some painkillers in my wallet all the time because of that. There was a day when I was waking up at 3 a.m. with a sharp pain in my chest. I'm not the kind of guy who really complains, but I had to wake my wife up and tell her that I'm not well. She had to call the ambulance. They came, picked me up, and I went to the hospital where I spent a day and a half. They told me my blood pressure went through the roof. Because of that, they gave me some medication. They told me that I was going to be on medication for the rest of my life. Even though I didn't know what I know now, I instinctively said, no, I can't go on medication for the rest of my life. So I refused. The doctor told me, okay, what are you going to do then? I said, okay, I'm going to join a martial art club. So I joined a karate club, thinking that I was there for 4 years, thinking that my blood pressure will come down, but there was no changes. So for the entire time, so what I was doing now, if I feel bad, I would just go and buy some medication over the counter, but my blood pressure didn't change until I adopted this plant-based nutrition.
But you were saying other stuff. I mean, not only the blood pressure was an issue for you, there were other things that were taking place too over time.
I was suffering from severe chest pain, back pain, and I remember that there was a time where I was not able to go to work. I spent a week at home because my back was killing me. It was difficult for me to bend. When I was young, I used to play tennis, and I couldn't play that anymore because I was too tired all the time. And apart from that, all my joints were aching, pain in my joint and stuff like that. And I was suffering from heartburn, especially when I would eat beans. This was really making me uncomfortable. I would have the flu for a week or 2 weeks. I would be in bed, having headaches, having the nose blocked. So that was the situation prior to me changing my lifestyle. It was really painful.
It is actually sometimes due to the pain and discomfort. We are pushed to do something else. Our soul is under stress and pain and suffering, saying, please help. Sometimes we hear that as an urge to eat more than to do something different.
Because of that, you just knew innately there's something not right. I did karate, but that's not doing it for me. So how'd you get on the path to knowing that you needed to do something else because you continued to have this pain and suffering?
Yeah, so for me, I was completely lost. I didn't know what to do because I went to the doctors. They told me the only solution they could provide was to give me medication, but I didn't want the medication. I didn't know what else to do. I said to myself, okay, this is my fate. I'll be sick. I will have a problem with my joint. And I remembered that my granddad, he had lots of problem with his joints. So for me, I thought it came from my granddad. I didn't know what else to do. And what's happened is that because when I was working at my last place, I was given a part-time job instead of working full-time. And because of that, I started to have time to watch a lot of videos on self-development. And that's why I stumbled on an Indian yogi who suggested that by stopping eating animal product, it was possible to reverse 70% of the chronic diseases. And because of all the situation I was going through, I said to myself, okay, I've got nothing to lose. I will start that. It was a Wednesday that I watched the program. On Thursday, I came back from work. I had my last meal of meat. And Friday, I went cold turkey. The following week, my situation got worse. For a week, I had massive headaches for 3 days that I've never had in my entire life. I had more cold sore on my lips. My joints starting to ache even more. I had abscesses and bad detox symptoms. Here at home, they asked me to stop. But I said, no, I'm going to continue. I will not stop that. And after a week, all these symptoms completely disappeared. That's why I would like people to understand that that's the way the body detoxifies itself. For most people, they will think that it's not working, but actually it's working. I started to have lots of mental clarity, a lot of energy, and that's how I got into my health starting to get better and better.
There was something innately that told you not to stop because what you're going through is what they call in holistic medicine the healing crisis. The body has to go through this intense detoxification process because it's had this stuff in it for how long? How many years or decades? And now it's got to release it all. And it's coming up through all these other symptoms. You're saying, oh my God, this is even getting worse. But in actuality, it's a healing crisis. Going through the detoxification of the body to let go of all this stuff that has been accumulating. So it frees you. And that's why you were saying, I have a greater clarity of mind and heart and being. It's like, wow, that was hard to go through. But you know what? There was light at the end of the tunnel here.
Yeah. Exactly. I've went through that situation. And when I am talking to people, that's what I want them to know. When the body goes through detox symptoms, it doesn't mean that it's not working. Most people will stop directly. They will say, no, it's not working. I don't have to continue to do that. As soon as they start eating the food they used to eat, the body will stop that detox process. They will say, see, the food I was eating was the wrong food. But they don't understand that's the way the body detoxifies itself. For me, there was something in me which told me that I need to continue because the detox was really bad. You're trying to get your health better and you get worse. At home, they told me, Olivier, you stop that. It's not good. I said, no, I will continue. Even though I didn't know that it was the detox symptoms, but I press on, and after a week, it's completely disappeared. And that's why I would like to give this awareness to people that if they change their way and go through a detox symptom, they don't have to be scared. They just have to know that it's working. The body's getting rid of all these toxins that they've accumulated for so long. And the body will dump that in the bloodstream. That's why people will have this bad reaction. They don't have to be scared. They will get through it. For some people, it can give them diarrhea. For some people, it will give them mood swing. For some people, they will be unable to sleep. For some people, they will have skin rashes. There's lots of things that can happen. But people need to continue with what they've changed. After a week, 2 weeks, maximum 3 weeks, the detox symptom will stop on their own when the body has finished getting rid of toxins.
We know there's a detox process that goes on if you're alcoholic. And if you're doing substances abuse, there's a detox process. We don't think about food. We have to go through a detox process.
Yeah.
Out of our...
Yeah, exactly. People know that if they take drugs and they have to stop, they will go through a withdrawal process or they drink or smoke. But for food, people don't know they have to go through the same detox period.
Mm-hmm.
People are not aware of that. As soon as they start feeling bad, they will stop automatically.
Mm-hmm. Because of some of the meats and the processed foods that we're eating and the amount of sugar that we're eating, you're so addicted to it. We're addicted to our sugar-covered donuts, a particular type of meat or soda we like to drink. And we're not realizing that when the body doesn't have it because it becomes dependent or tolerant of it, doesn't mean it likes it. It just becomes tolerant of it. That our body, when it says, now you're not going to get it, it's like, what? Am I going to get any more? Even though it's not good for me, but I'm used to it. And so what you're talking about is that kind of a crisis that the body's going through to recalibrate itself. And in that recalibration of itself is recalibrating it to be at a higher frequency, not a dense or lower frequency. When we calibrate to a higher frequency, it frees the soul. The soul is saying, okay, I don't have all this pressure, all this sense of stuff around me, that I can have space and opportunity to help you, to guide you, to direct you, and also to learn certain lessons that we need to learn and not live life unconsciously, but now living life more on point and intentionally.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why, for example, people don't understand that when you start eating the wrong food, the body start tolerating that, and you will think that, okay, it's not a problem. My body likes it. But no, it's because the body has get used to it and it doesn't react anymore. But now, at the level of health that I am now, if I eat something which is bad, automatically I have a reaction. Automatically, my body will let me know that there's something wrong. For example, in 2018, I went back to Congo to visit my dad. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, he passed away this year in February. Yeah, but in 2018, I went to visit him. And when I was there, they offered me palm wine. I had a little bit of it, and I drank that. And it was a Sunday. On Tuesday night, I was at my friend's house, and I was starting to feel not good. I said to my friend, I need to go home. I don't feel good anymore. I went home. In the morning, I went to the toilet. As soon as I did that, I was feeling good. In the past, I could drink a lot of this palm wine, and I didn't have any reaction. Mm-hmm. But now, as soon as I eat something bad for me, mm-hmm. the next day I will have a reaction. So if I eat some vegan sausages that my body doesn't like, the next day I will know that. But for most people, they can eat whatever, the body doesn't react anymore, and they think that it's normal. But when you got a high level of vitality, as soon as you get something bad in your system, the body will have a reaction.
The body actually has an innate intelligence when it's given the opportunity and the space to give you the cues of what's going on. But many times we end up squashing that innate intelligence and just say, we're going to have it anyway. We're going to take this particular type of food because it's the culture, or because it was given to me, or because I wanted to be polite. But the body has an innate intelligence. And if we listen to that innate intelligence, it will tell us what it needs and what it doesn't need. And what you did was listen to your body, took the wine and realized, no, that's not going to work out for me. No. And that's the piece too that the soul wants us to do, is to learn from our experiences and not continue to do the same thing again and again. It's like saying, I know I did it the first time, it wasn't right. Then, okay, I tried it again and it definitely wasn't right. Then that's the time to say, I need to go in a different direction. I need to be more tuned to what's going to be the healthier way for me to eat, or the healthier way for me to think or be in my day-to-day life.
Yeah, exactly. But what people are missing is that when your body gives you symptoms, they want to suppress the symptoms instead of understanding that the body, it's because the way the body talks to us, it's through symptoms. So if you have a symptom, it means that your body is telling you that you need to do something about it. Maybe you are eating the wrong food, maybe you are doing the wrong thing, and that's why your body is reacting that way. But for us, what people will do, they will suppress that symptoms. And when the symptoms are suppressed, they will think that they're in good health. Unfortunately, when you suppress the body like that, the body becomes mute. It's not going to tell you anything. And one day you just have maybe a heart attack or something like that. And people will wonder, but this guy was in good health. What's happened? Well, they was just suppressing the symptoms. And one day the body had enough and you go through this kind of crisis.
Right, right. Very good point. Very good point. That happens because through the suppression, you're now not only suppressing what the innate intelligence of your body is trying to tell you, but you're also suppressing your soul. And we don't
Yeah.
even realize that. And in the suppressing our soul has an innate intelligence to it as well, that love that we're saying, we disconnect from that. And we're not realizing we're disconnecting. And in fact, we have to engage in that and listen and be obedient. And that's the other quality that sometimes happens. People don't want to be obedient because they like it. It tastes good. It looks good. It feels good for the moment. But for the long term, it's not good.
Yeah, exactly. And for me, I think is because in the society, for what I know, we are spiritual beings having a physical experience. For most people, they think that we are just physical. They don't even think that we are spiritual. Your soul, your spiritual self is trying to talk to you, but people will numb that with alcohol, cigarette, food. Then they become numb. They don't understand that's the spiritual self is trying to talk to them.
I think things that you're doing and things that other individuals are doing in the world that allows the body to be lighter through looking at nutrition and looking at plant-based types of eating, and it helps to bring a vitality to the body and to the soul that allows you to be able to say, I'm going to follow my prompting. I'm going to follow what my inner self is telling me. When we start eating right, thinking right, and being more in alignment with the higher good of our life and the direction we want to move in, we start having things happen that help us continue in the right way, even against other people, family members or friends, which we talked about in part one, that may say, no, 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 don't do it. But your inner self and your soul is saying, yes, 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 I need to do it.
When you are not eating the right food, you vibrate in a very low level of frequency. It's become difficult for you to pick up what your soul is trying to tell you. People are engrossed with dense processed food. Because of that, the connection is severed, and they're not really in contact with their souls. And that's why they start living on autopilot. They don't understand why they are here on Earth. And for me, for example, before going on this plant-based nutrition, I didn't know why I was here. For me, it was just you wake up, you go to school, you get a good grade, you get a job, you get married, you have kids, you go on holiday, you buy a new car, a big house, you wait for your pension, you retire, and then you just wait to die. And that's exactly what most people think life is all about. They don't know that there's a purpose. Why we are here. People don't ask themselves these questions because they don't have the time. They are too busy. And when you have the time to reflect, and that's why, for example, you will see a lot of people. It really surprises me that, for example, when I'm in public transport, you will see 99% of people with their phones. They always have to be distracted. They can't stay on in their thought. They always have to be distracted. If they don't have their phones, they need to be watching something. But for me, when I go on Sunday for my walk, I turn off my phone and I want to be in my own thought. I don't listen to anything. For most people, it's too painful to be without any distraction. As soon as they start reflecting on their life, they see that something doesn't work and want to escape from that. They need to be distracted all the time. And that's really sad.
Yeah, that's a very powerful point in terms of distractions. And I've done some episodes about distraction as well. So I think you're right on point with that. Sometimes people don't know how to be otherwise. They're so used to be conditioned to say, okay, if I don't have anything, I look at my phone, I look at social media, I look at the TV. I think what happens is that distraction is actually counter to what the soul needs. So the degree to which you are distracted is the degree that your soul is starving. We don't think about our soul starving, but it is starving for our attention, starving for us to be wanting to self-develop, as you talk about, learn about yourself. It's starving from not having the ability to be in connection with you because you're so distracted. If we are not able to be connected to our higher purpose, part of that higher purpose is our soul. Our soul has come for certain lessons and experiences. If we're not being aware and asking ourselves when we went through that great thing or that bad thing, what happened? It's like ask your buddy, your soul, and say, why did this happen? What's going on here? Is there something I can do differently? Or is there something you can send my way to help me, to guide me through this experience? If we're not doing that, then we're living a life that is maybe on the path of only existing, not living.
Yeah, exactly. Unfortunately, that's what most people are doing. They're just existing. They're not living because most of the stuff that they do is on autopilot. There's no thinking behind it. They just follow the herd. And that's why, for example, in my own experience, if you want to live a good life, a fulfilling life, most of the time you need to do the opposite of what the majority of people are doing. And when you do that, you will see that your life will be most fulfilling. Unfortunately, most people don't have the time to even take 5 minutes to go inward and see what's going on. They need to distract themselves. Most people don't even know that they've got a spiritual part of themselves. They are just physical beings. And because of that, they just live their lives as they are just physical beings. And the spiritual part is starved. And that's what unfortunately is happening. When you're trying to wake these people up, they don't want to know. What is really, really bizarre, they don't want to know. It's sad.
Yeah, I think there is a percentage of people that are fine with the way they are. There are individuals or souls who are looking for something more and just haven't found it, or they find that part of them is looking, some of them fall back to sleep. And then it goes back to looking again, and then it falls back to sleep. Because of suffering, as you were talking about with experiences in your life, the suffering we go through sometimes pulls us up to say, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to feel this bad in my body anymore. What do I need to do? Help me. There's some level of inner crying for help. And then we have things that come our way to try to help us and support us and guide us. And if we're willing to do those things, then it frees us and it opens that door to a greater sense of purpose and direction and a greater sense at ease and easement with oneself. Part of that, and which I want to get your thoughts about, is people maybe have challenges with dealing with loneliness, because that's why they have all the distractions, so they don't have to deal with being lonely. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, exactly. I think that the problem is people don't want to be on their own. They are scared. The thought of being on your own and reflecting on your life, maybe it's too painful. You want to bury their hand in the sand, and they don't want to know. That's why a lot of people would like to be distracted. They can't stay on their own. If they are on their own, they need to do something that will distract them. And that's unfortunate. Even when you're trying to give them a different way of doing things, they will think that it's woo-woo or something like that. They don't want to know. And that's unfortunate, especially when it's your family members. You want to wake them up, but they don't want to know. That's very sad. You will see that other people who are not from your family, they are maybe aware of your message. You are trying to tell them. They're trying to pay attention, but your own family members just don't want to know. And that's very sad, because you want to save them. But I've come to the conclusion that there are some people who will not have to be saved. They just have to live the life that they have to live. And that's
unfortunate, because you love them. And so I think the only thing that we can do is pray for them, for their enlightenment, for their ability to start to see things in a different way according to God's will and timetable. And as you're talking about the loneliness and being alone, I think one of the things that you end up doing, which we talked a teeny bit in part one, but it's important, as we're talking about this, eat to thrive and unlocking the youthfulness and vitality. We're talking about the ability to be at one with yourself, be at ease with yourself, being aware that there'll be patches of discomfort and difficulties and maybe even conflicts that happen, but you're also being more and more of who you really are. And also knowing that I'll get past this, I'll learn from this, I'll grow from this. And I don't have to feel like I have to always be distracted in order not to feel the suffering or the pain or the disappointment or the hurt. That's a part of the life of learning for the soul. So the soul is learning certain things because, oh, that hurt. Okay, what do you want to do? I'm not going to do that again. Right. So how are we going to move forward then? That's what the soul wants, a forward movement, as opposed to staying still and not feeling it as there's any hope and you can't move forward.
Yeah, exactly. That's unfortunate for most people. They don't want to learn that way because, for example, if you touch fire, you get burned and you learn the lesson. Mm-hmm. And that's why you move forward. You will know that this is not right. But for most people, they can feel that an ease in their soul, but they just don't understand why. And they try to numb that pain with alcohol, cigarettes, food, and stuff like that. They can feel that something is not right, and they don't understand what it is. What is really sad is that when you want to show them the way, most people, they don't want to know. What I've said to myself is that maybe what we can do is plant the seeds, and one day, when the time is right for them, they will be able to wake up.
One of the things that you did, we talked about in part one, but I think it's important in this part as we're talking about thriving, is that your way out was being able to listen to the pains, the hurts going on in your body from the eating habits you're engaged in to realize I need to do something more. And so when you did that, you ended up moving towards plant-based eating, and that started to detoxify you to allow the soul and the cells in the body to become more enlivened, to realize there's a higher frequency here. There's something more that I have, and I'm getting my fulfillment through understanding how I eat has an impact on my consciousness.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what people don't understand, that there's a relationship between your consciousness and what you eat. When you eat dense food, you will start vibrating at a very low frequency. And basically what you're going to attract in your life will be low as well. They eat whatever they want. If you've got your car, which works with diesel, and you put petrol in it, it's not going to work. It's going to create a problem. But for people, we have been able to tell ourselves that we can eat whatever we want. And we expect to feel good, to be in good health, while it's not the case. Mm-hmm. People really need to understand that connection between the body, what you eat, and your consciousness. Mm-hmm. If you eat dense food, you will vibrate at a very low frequency and attract lower circumstances and people in your life. But people don't understand that because these are things that we don't learn at school. It's just if you go on your self-development path, then you can start learning all these things. But to be able to learn all these things as well, you need to be able to listen to your soul. But for most people, they are unable to do that. Yeah. So it's really a difficult situation.
Yeah, and sometimes we just don't know how to do it because of the conditioning that you talked about before. We don't know how to take reflective time that you were able to naturally engage in through your curiosity and your willingness. I think in your role that you have come into being around is how to help coach people through nutrition and plant-based food to help them move to that higher consciousness or that higher vibration that eventually can free the soul to that they can be in listening grace to their soul, their Christ, the higher presence that exists within them and around them. So why don't you tell them a little bit about how you have moved into the coaching realm through your life experiences?
Yes, what I've been able to do with my coaching, the way I've been able to see is that when you start eating the right food, you are able to see your purpose, why you are here on earth. For most people, they don't even know. They just live on autopilot. It's not that you come to my program to lose weight. It's mostly to start living as a human being. So you start eating the right food. Because of that, you'll be able to know who you are, why you are here on earth, and then you will have a sense of purpose. A lot of people can have lots of money, but they still find there's a hole, there's a emptiness, because there's no sense of purpose. And what I would like with my coaching is not only to give you a good health, but to coach you to know that there's a purpose. And because of that, you'll be able to find why you are here on earth. That's exactly what I do. So my program is holistic. It's not only physical, but it looks at all the aspects of the human being.
Mm-hmm. It's a pathway or a program that leads to greater fulfillment. I think everyone's looking for a greater sense of purpose and fulfillment and vitality, especially if they age, and looking for the vitality piece or the youthfulness piece of things. And also, we just want to feel well in our body. So I think that's a great way in which you're trying to be in the world and help others to be in the world. So if there was a comment or a phrase or a statement that you want to leave with people, what would it be?
I will tell people that most things, when we grow older, we need to be sick. But what I would like people to know is that when you grow older, you don't have to be sick. Being sick is a choice. Like me, I started this process when I was 46. Today, I'm 54. And I've not been sick a single day. And I would like to show people that it's possible for them to live a disease-free life. They don't have to say, oh, I'm too old. You're not too old. Even if you're in your 60s, your 70s, you're not too old. The body is very resilient and has the possibility to reverse a lot of stuff. Mm-hmm. So that's what I would like people to know, that being sick is a choice. It's possible to live a disease-free life. You don't have to be sick.
That's very powerful, because we always think about the choices we make and how they impact our physical well-being, our mental well-being, our emotional well-being, our spiritual well-being. And so it's through the choices we make, you can help people to enlighten them and make wiser choices to have more of a fulfilling life. So seekers, please reach out to our guest, Olivier. How may they reach you if they wanted to reach you?
Yes, if they want to reach me, they can go on my website, which is oliviermankondo.com. That's over there. They will be able to see all about my work. They will be able to purchase my book, The Plant-Based Nutrition, How It's Going to Change Your Life. And if they want to book a discovery call with me, they can still go over there. And that will be able to work together if there's a good fit and transform their lives physically and spiritually.
Thank you for being such a delightful guest on Mastering Life's Adventures. I wish you the best as you're helping and serving other individuals and seekers. Please listen to part 1. I think you'll find some treasures of information that will be helpful to you there as well. Bye for now. Take care. Thank you for joining me for this episode on Mastering Life's Adventures, being your best self through soul evolution. If you have enjoyed what you've heard today, I would be delighted if you would share this episode with others, leave a thumbs up, and subscribe to my Mastering Life's Adventures podcast. Look forward to your joining the next episode. Please leave any comments or suggestions you might have below. Bye for now.